Hey guys, I'm the one you lost, and welcome back to another art video. So, this particular artwork is another one of Bae, another hololive artwork, so big surprise, am I right? But it's one of those things that I just enjoy drawing hololive characters. It's kind of my niche. I do other VTubers sometimes, but I do just like drawing VTubers a whole lot. If my voice sounds a little bit deeper, it's actually not my real voice. It's I just woke up. But yeah, so this particular artwork, we started off kind of with one idea that slowly morphed into a different idea. I almost said murphed. But the point being, we started off with one idea and then ended in a completely different direction, which is kind of how a lot of my artworks actually go. Because, man, I tend to not know where to go half the time. So, 1 second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to double check to make sure I actually had the right video because I didn't recognize it at first. I was like, wait a minute, is this the correct video? And it was. I just had to like zoom ahead a bit because I forget sometimes whenever I'm making an artwork that I have many iterations of the artwork before I settle on the one that I end up having. So it's one of those situations where it's like, oh, okay, it was the correct one. I just didn't remember all the sketches that I made previously. So here is where I actually start doing the final sketch, and I understand what it is exactly that I'm drawing. And I went for kind of like a sleepy, like wearing a nighttime clothes, like pajama-esque type artwork. Drawing the wrinkles, I went a little more in-depth than I typically do. Typically, I like to render wrinkles rather than actually draw them, because whenever you draw them, even though it can help guide you, the lines can actually be very distracting when it comes to doing line art. So I actually don't fully recommend that you draw line art whenever you draw clothes. It's best just to render it in, unless you know what you're doing. And I'm in kind of an in-between space where I kind of know a little bit of what I'm doing, but I also don't know everything about clothes because I haven't studied them as much as I've studied other things. But yeah, that's basically my advice is like, don't do line art for clothes unless you really know what you're doing. And if you just prefer to do it that way, that's fine too. I don't control you, but that's my advice. By the way, if you like my videos and my processes and what I do, it would help out a whole lot if you like the video, left a comment, and then if you want to come back for more, subscribing and hitting the bell. I know that technically I'm supposed to say that because YouTube doesn't like it if you don't say it. So there, I said it. Thank you for watching a minute in, well, maybe 3 minutes in and actually listening to my stupidity. But yeah, back to the video. When it comes to doing the hair, I definitely like to make it a little more simple. There's a lot of like little pieces, but in reality, it's actually pretty simple as long as you know how to follow gravity with whatever you're doing. It's good to always keep gravity in mind, no matter what you're drawing, because gravity is going to dictate through the whole artwork the movement. Oh my gosh. It's allergy season and I'm dying. But yeah, so we have the line art is pretty close to finish, and we're going to start laying down the base colors here pretty soon. But there's really not a whole lot to say for this particular artwork. It's just kind of one of those things that I had a few references in front of me, and that's actually my recommendation. If you want to do anything correct in terms of artwork, you need to actually have a reference in front of you of some kind. Because you can only do so much for memory, especially if you're like me and you can't really see things in your head. Having a reference is super important. Because, man, I absolutely struggle to do things from memory because I just can't physically see anything in my brain. My brain is just one big black void. So I have to have multiple references in front of me to kind of get an idea of what I need. And for the most part, like, I don't need to use a reference half the time because I can kind of figure out where things are supposed to go. It's just a matter I've been doing it long enough that I know the way things are supposed to move. And I did a little bit of adjustment on the body here and the head, made the head a little bit larger and the thighs just a little bit smaller. Because it was like, alright, this looks a bit anatomically incorrect, if that makes sense. But yeah, we have the basic idea here, and here pretty soon we're actually going to start getting to the render. I'm just kind of judging and figuring out where things will go. I actually go back in and I changed the hair, as you could see from the beginning of the video, and that was because the way I had it here didn't really work. And here's where I actually changed the hair. And changing it later is something that's a little bit difficult, and I don't actually recommend that everybody do that. I only did it because I'm so used to being able to start over, but it's definitely one of those things that it can be really annoying to go back and try to fix things that you screwed up, because it's one of those horrible parts of drawing where it's like you look back and you have to decide, you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Do I want to completely redo it and make it better, or do I just want to let it be not that great? And this is one of those moments where I was like, yeah, I just got to fix it. I have to. It looks completely wrong. So I went back, I fixed it. It's just as simple as that. Also, I do have a Patreon. Sorry for advertising my Patreon, but I do need to be 100% honest and say, like, it is kind of an adult Patreon, so I can't physically check your ID. That's that's Patreon's job. But it's also a warning to anyone who's not cool with that yes, my Patreon does include some more not safe for work elements in it. So it's one of those things that you keep that in mind. I might make a separate Patreon just for my YouTube account, just because, you know, it might be easier for people to support me if they didn't like the NSFW content. But I might do that. I might make a separate one just for my YouTube account. Now that I think about it, it's probably the best idea. But anyway, that's enough of that. But we are getting close to the end in terms of this video. About 2 minutes left because we have just the clothes and the hair pretty much left, and when it comes to drawing and rendering everything out. When it came to rendering the clothes here, it was definitely challenging because I didn't quite know what to do, but by some miracle it actually turned out pretty good, so we'll take that. We'll take those wins here. Now we're getting to the shading in the hair, and I kept it really simple, just like most of it being lit up, and I didn't want to do any crazy lighting this time because frankly there isn't that much crazy lighting on the character in general. It's a very straight on lighting, particular artwork. If you're wondering what the blue haze is for, that is actually there to separate parts of the foreground from the background, and it helps the readability a whole lot. It makes it easier to figure out what exactly I'm trying to convey. So now we're going to start getting to the point where we're going to add post-processing, and this is kind of what gets my artworks looking finished. Because really the secret to getting things to look their absolute best is to be good at post-processing with things like tonal curve, color balance, and all the bells and whistles. That's really the best way I can describe it. That's the secret. But yeah, that was this artwork of Bae. Sorry I wasn't as interesting this video. I am still technically half asleep. But I really appreciate you guys watching the video. If you watched the whole way through, I don't know how you did it. This video was not interesting, but I do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.